Howie Roseman is having the best offseason he has ever had, period. Ever. Since he has had final say of the Eagles roster, he has had the best offseason he has ever had. Now, this is all, I'm just talking about the paper here. All right, I'm just talking about the paper. I'm talking about looking at the 53, looking at the roster. That's all I'm talking about here. I'm not talking about the team he assembled when they won the Super Bowl, because ultimately that ended up being the best roster that he ever assembled. Because you think about the guys that they brought in, everybody hit on that roster. Everyone they traded for, everyone they signed, everybody hit. LeGarrette Blount was an offseason signing. They brought him in. Even during the season, they traded for Jay Ajayi. And before the season, they brought in Chris Long. Everybody was a big contributor to that team. Nick Foles comes in, only helps you win a Super Bowl. Not a bad offseason there, Howie. That was, start to finish, the best job Howie's ever done. Quite obvious. They won a Super Bowl. But if we're just talking about a good old paper, this is the best offseason. Look, we talked about a couple different things here. We talked about going into the preseason. We talked about going into training camp. Man, that safety spot, that's worrisome. Enter CD Deuce. Jalen Reagor's not really going to be here another season, is he? Traded yesterday. Adam Schefter puts out the tweet. And all of Philadelphia rejoices. Eagles sending Jalen Reagor to the Minnesota Vikings in exchange for a 2023 7th-round pick and then a conditional 2024 4th-round pick that would de-escalate to a 5th-round pick if certain statistical marks are not met, sources tell ESPN. Jalen Reagor. Here's how, as I open the show, Howie Roseman has quite the sense of humor. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside gets traded to where? And then later cut. Seattle. Who did we always compare J.J. Arcega-Whiteside with? That would be a one DK Metcalf. Hey, J.J., go be teammates with the guy that everyone was comparing with. See you later. Cut 2 weeks later. Hey, Jalen, who's everyone comparing you with? Oh, would that be Justin Jefferson? I'm trading you to the Minnesota Vikings, where you're going to be rocking alongside Justin Jefferson. Rocking. Good luck to you. There's a little bit of sense of humor, I believe, in Howie Roseman. Look, one time it happens, coincidence. But then you look at the fact that they just turned around and traded the guy that they traded for. Is Howie trying to make a point? Because J.J. Arcega-Whiteside ends up getting cut from Seattle. They trade him to Seattle, obviously, to team him up with DK Metcalf. And you're like, all right, funny coincidence. Then they get rid of the guy that they just traded for, so they almost nullify the trade. And then they go and do the same thing with Jalen Reagor. Twice. What is it? What do you need? 3 times for it to be something that's not a coincidence? Okay. I think Howie's trying to make a bit of a point or just a joke, because Howie likes to make the jokes, as we all know. I'm beside myself. I'm absolutely beside. I saw that. I just started laughing. And then I was like, now I got to do an emergency show. But I am thrilled with this. Look, the Eagles get back, 2 picks. And if they get a 4th-round pick in return, great. They get a 7th-round pick, fine. Take a flyer. That's fine. But I know a lot of people look at this and go, well, you shouldn't have drafted him in the first place. You should have drafted Justin Jefferson. And you are correct. You are right. There is no stratosphere where you are wrong in saying that. But what have we been asking for? Especially going into this year. Admit the mistake. Acknowledge the mistake. Move on from the mistake. Yes, did you end up using a 1st-round pick and 2 years later turning it into a possible 4th and 7th? Yes, that's exactly what happened. But you know what that's better than? Waiting for Jalen Reagor to come around here in Philadelphia again, because it ain't going to happen. It was like one time I felt great about Jalen Reagor last season. And you know what it was? It was when Jalen Reagor was a running back. That's when I felt good. That's when they used him on jet sweeps for like a dozen plays, and at least it felt like that in Detroit. I was like, oh, yeah, maybe as a running back, this guy will work out. No, not so much. The Eagles made the right decision. They didn't hold on. We played the cut for you yesterday about, they're talking about Jalen Reagor really working hard in practice. He's here every day at practice. He's doing great. It was like they were trying to sell themselves on Jalen Reagor still. And then this trade was apparently just around the corner. Who knows if they were already flirting with the Vikings about this potential trade. But bottom line is, he's no longer here. He can no longer hurt you. Philadelphia. He can no longer hurt you, Philadelphia Eagles fan base. And I'm sure some of our friends in the chat here will be having themselves a grand old time when it comes to the Ragerisms that I'm sure we're due a little bit later on in the show. So that'll be a fun little topic for our chat. Good morning, everybody in the chat, by the way. I just think I don't think you could look at a offseason Howie Roseman had. Now, I will say this. I have come around on the, knock on wood one more time, dream team comparison of 2011. I don't even acknowledge it much anymore, but I know other people do, so I just want to address it for a second. The thing that's a saving grace in all of that is the obvious thing. That was the lockout year. Not only was it the lockout year, you got no help from your first-round pick, which was a 26 overall pick, if I remember correctly, with Danny Watkins. So you didn't get any help there. But this team, as of right now, has had a full training camp. They've had a full offseason. CD Deuce coming into effect is obviously a new thing. But in terms of the build, most of these guys have been around. I'm feeling pretty damn good about this Eagles team and everybody being on the same page. And that paper that I just praised a second ago will translate not just from looking good on paper, but looking good on the field as well. That's where I'm at when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles right now.